Another happy morning, YouTube. The sun isn't shining, but the temperature is getting warmer. Spring is here officially, and it seems as though it's coming literally. So I'm happy this morning. Yay! Making me doubly happy is the fact that the Leafs laid a real beatdown on the Sabres last night in Buffalo, and I mentioned in my last video that the 3-0 loss to Nashville was very non-indicative of how the game actually went. The Leafs actually deserved a much better fate, if not the outright win in that game. But it was one of those games that's a slump turner, and I was expecting bigger things in this Buffalo game, and the Leafs went out and they delivered that. The first two periods was just like rope-a-dope, Leafs versus a Pee-wee team. It was just, they were all over them. The shots after two periods was like 38-12 or something like that. Despite that, the Leafs, as they have a habit of doing, got down early. As the Sabres scored a power play goal in the first period to take a 1-0 lead to the dressing room. So, but it was one of those games where you could just tell the Leafs were they were way too on. Even more so than in the latter two periods in Nashville, that you knew something was going to happen, especially the way Matthews had been playing recently and had not gotten anything for it. And early in the second period, a couple minutes in, he was the one who opened the scoring for the Leafs. They had been working so hard, and the first couple goals weren't pretty at all. It was just a couple of ugly, greasy kind of goals that got them the lead. But that's often what happens when a team is coming out of a slump like that and they're working real hard. It's not the pretty ones that go in, although they had lots of nice, pretty chances. Those weren't the ones that went in. Matthews' goal was he was in the crease and spinning around and trying to tip a shot in, and it went in off his skate sort of thing. And then a couple minutes left in the second, Tavares got a juicy rebound in front and smacked it home amidst a tangle of bodies. And the Leafs took a 2-1 lead to the room in the second. Third period was a bit of a different story, probably because they'd played the night before in Nashville, had to travel, whereas the Sabres had been off for a few days. So the Sabres seemed to be able to match the Leafs' legs in the third period. The Leafs sagged a bit. Despite that, though, they got on the board early. Not even a half minute in, Marner made it 3-1. And although Buffalo would make it 3-2 later on in the period, the Leafs were able to massage it home, and Hyman did some really good work with a half minute left in the period to score an empty netter and seal the deal for a 4-2 win. So yeah, it was a good effort by everybody. Everybody on the ice played well for the Leafs that night, last night. All the forwards, all the D-men, they all played great. There were no glaring blunders like there had been in previous games. They got better bounces, and Sparks was in the net because it was a back-to-back situation, and he probably had his best game that I'd seen in a while. He wasn't that busy compared to Hutton in the Buffalo net, but he made, especially in the third period when Buffalo kind of caught up, he made some key saves at the right moments, and he also had to deal with a lot of when the first two periods the Leafs were all over Buffalo. The possession time was crazy. They were in their end almost the whole time, so there were a lot of periods where Sparks didn't see a lot of action, and then all of a sudden he's got a couple shots, and they say that's one of the hardest things for a goalie to do, is to not see a shot for a long time and then suddenly get a bunch. So he did a good job in dealing with that as well. So overall, this was the best game the Leafs had played in quite a few games, and it certainly was the slump buster that they needed. And then I think I heard the guys saying that most of the rest of their games are against teams that are not in the playoff mix. So I know they got the Rangers on Saturday and stuff like that. So not to say that they can take these teams lightly, but definitely hopefully improves their chances of gaining 2 points out of these games, more so than it would be if they were, playing some stiff competition. So the Leafs have a couple days off now before the Saturday game against the Rangers to feel good about what they did in Buffalo last night and continue to work on things and sort things out. And yeah, can't wait for a hockey night in Canada. Have a great end of the week.